This is NDTV. And you're watching NDTV Hindu.
Well, the cat is out of the bag. DMDK signals it will contest the upcoming assembly polls with the AIA DMK.
They have to come together in case to meet the DMK's strength.
But the big question everyone's asking, will this mega alliance of two big names stop the DMK from coming back to power?
At the time of elections, of course, they think they can bribe the voters and can again come to power.
Amma plays rough with Alagiri, says he was distributing Horlicks packets stolen by his men in Madurai. A woman constable detained earlier, now arrested for the alleged murder of her lover. NDTV Hindu's consumer special, the price to pay for medical negligence, hospital ordered to pay up over 60,000 to its patient. And Sachin Tendulkar brightens it up for India with a scintillating double-ton. Royana 2 chips in with his maiden century. Well, we bring you all that and much more. Before we move on to those big stories, let's have a look at what's making headlines across India. After Amit Shah, will the CBI now question Narendra Modi? NDTV accesses an internal CBI report on the Sohrabuddin case. This is how the Shiv Sena protests the order of the Maharashtra government to import milk powder. The British Prime Minister tells NDTV Pakistan needs to do more to curb terror.
And we need to work with the Pakistan government to make sure that we close down all of the terrorism that exists from Pakistan. That is very clear that we do that.
A united opposition is at it again, takes on the government on price rise. BJP goes to the president with 1 lakh signs.
ये रणनीति है, सब रणनीति है। संसद से सड़क से संसद तक उन्हें तो है अपना हक देने का। आप समय दें, अच्छा नहीं देंगे तो अपना और तरीका अपनाएंगे।
A very good evening. You're watching Headlines Now, our top story today, story that we've been tracking throughout the day on NDTV Hindu exclusive. The latest indication coming in that opposition leader Jayalalitha will have an important political player by her side. Now, this is expected to alter the political balance in Tamil Nadu ahead of elections next year. Let's find out more. Pirit Mohammed reports.
In the strongest ever indication so far, actor Vijay Kant's top aide Panruti Ramachandran has said there is growing consensus between his DMDK and Jayalalitha's AIA DMK on facing state elections next year together as allies. His comments came in an exclusive interview to NDTV Hindu.
There is a feeling from among the rank and file of both ADMK and DMDK that they have to come together in case to meet the DMK's strength in the ensuing assembly elections.
It appears that Jayalalitha's political forecast some weeks ago is coming true. The communist parties and political writers in the state have also said an electoral pact between the AIA-DMK and the DMDK will form a strategic role that is necessary to challenge the financial might of the governing DMK in elections.
So as things stand, as I told you, we are not averse to any alliance. We have been so far contesting on our party's strength alone. Now that we have come to a certain stage of growth, we think that perhaps we need a credible alternative to the present DMK government in the ensuing assembly elections.
The DMDK's latest signal is expected to alter the political balance in Tamil Nadu, which could also influence undecided groups to back Jayalalitha's opposition alliance.
For the first time, Vijay Kant's DMDK has confirmed that they would like to join hands with the AIA-DMK. The political landscape in Tamil Nadu will never be the same again. In Chennai, Peer Mohammed, NDTV Hindu.
Well, now this comes just weeks after Jayalalitha had given strong hints at a massive rally in Coimbatore that she was looking to join hands with the DMDK. The DMK, though, discounted the threat of this mega alliance. Listen in.
His alliance was with God. Then God, I think, had ditched him. Then he said that his alliance with the people. You know that people have not accepted him. Let us see if Jayalalitha at least accepts him.
Well, joining us on this big story of the day is our Executive Editor Sanjay Pinto, who joins us in the studio right now. Very good evening, Sanjay. How do you read into the developments today? Many political commentators have already gone in and actually stitched up this alliance between the two, although there seem to be smoke signals, but we haven't seen any fires yet, have we?
Well, the person who would actually really have to play Taylor in this case, not the political pundits, not you and me, but it has to be Amma herself, ensconced in Post Garden. She had indicated that this was coming. We all knew that this was coming. We still don't know whether it's coming for sure because, of course, Pandroti Ramachandran is known to be the conscience keeper and a trusted lieutenant of Captain Vijaykanth, and he's virtually his advisor, political advisor. So obviously he knows what he's talking about. And we are told that this has been in the pipeline for quite some time now. This is the first indication that NDTV Hindu has got thanks to Peer Mohammed in that exclusive interview with Pandroti Ramachandran. But what will this do actually to the alliance? We do know for a fact that the DMDK virtually came a cropper the last time, just one seat, the sole seat of Vijaykanth himself. And they do the days of solitary reapers, the days of sole providers in politics are over. Even the two Dravidian juggernauts have realized that they need to cobble together that formidable alliance. So it all boils down to numbers. And we have seen in the past that the DMDK is better off on the side of the AIDMK-led alliance because the DMDK has, in the past, actually eaten into the DMK's vote share. So they have actually split the DMK vote. So if Amma manages to cobble together an alliance, of course she already has the left, she's got in fact the MDMK on her side. PMK, of course, once the DMDK goes to Amma's side, it's very, very, very remote, almost impossible that Ramdas would share the days with Vijaykanth. So then it's almost, other things will fit into place. It's almost like a jigsaw puzzle that could then slowly fit into place.
But how do you see this entire political landscape in Tamil Nadu, especially given the fact that in a few months the campaigning pitch is going to reach high, political parties are going to stream out throughout the state to consolidate their voter base and in fact win over more. How do you see the political landscape changing with such a move? With respect to both the PMK-DMK alliance, if that might be in the offing, and this overture that was visible today?
All right, alliance alone, the doctrine of alliance alone will not happen at all because Vijaykanth is now going to go on her side. Vijaykanth has a vote share of, in fact, been steadily climbing. He's got a vote share of close to 10% in Tamil Nadu. So certainly it will definitely dent the chances of the DMK getting, perhaps an easy, comfortable majority. It will give the DMK a real run for its money. All along, Jayalalitha has been taunting the DMK, calling it a minority government. On the one hand, they have to face these taunts from the opposition. On the other hand, the DMK has had to sort of contend with those, demands, those noises about power sharing from the Congress. So therefore, I think the DMK this time will have to really wait and watch, and I think they will perhaps at some stage get the PMK on board.
Right. In fact, an indication of that, how things are getting heated up, Sanjay, was evident today. In fact, Jayalalitha, it seems, is not leaving anything for imagination right now. The AIDMK Supremo today released a statement that was as scathing as it was absurd on the face of it. She accused Alagiri and his men of stealing Horlicks sachets from a local businessman, from the godown of a local businessman, and distributing it to the people in a place near Madurai. In fact, Amma has gone ahead demanding a CBI inquiry into the theft of over 9,000 Horlicks sachets near Madurai. The suspicion, according to her, as you can see on your screens right there, is that the police even refused to register a complaint against Alagiri, and for this, Jaya seems to be demanding a CBI inquiry. Well, Sanjay, the statements there, a different thing altogether, demanding a CBI probe into something like this. But what is the genesis of this hostility? It certainly seems to have boiled over into total bitterness. More than the statement itself, it's the emotion behind this, the bitterness, utter bitterness that's on display. How do you read into this, and what is the genesis of this hostility between the DMK and, in fact, Jaya?
Obviously, a storm in a Horlicks cup without sugar here in this case. But Manish, this goes back to 25th of January 1989. That's when the seeds of that's the genesis of this whole bitterness, where the seeds were sown. When Jayalalitha was attacked inside the assembly, and she swore that she would never attend the assembly until she comes back to power, and she did that. Which is why every time one party is voted to power, the other, in fact, except for a few, barring a few occasions, religiously boycott the assembly. They just go there to sign. Maybe for important debates, yes, they do show up, but otherwise, virtually they boycott the assembly. But this is unparalleled in the country. Look at even the United States of America. Even after that bitter campaign between Obama and Sarah Palin and McCain, and that comment about lipstick on a pig, they were gracious in acknowledging defeat and congratulating the other. In India, Manmohan Singh was called the weakest prime minister by L.K. Advani. But after the election, despite that barb, he congratulated Manmohan Singh. Lalu Prasad Yadav and Ramvilas Paswan attend the wedding receptions of their family members, each other's family members. In fact, Chandrababu Naidu went and condoled the death of YSR in that copter crash. It's only in Tamil Nadu that there's this bitter rivalry here. And it makes us political reporters often feel like war journalists. I call this the J&K crossfire in Tamil Nadu, the Jayalalitha Karunanidhi crossfire here in Tamil Nadu. And it's really sad because I don't see these parties ever seeing eye to eye ever again. And also, just to tell you, Manish, I remember good old, a few years ago covering the swearing-in ceremony of Ms. Jayalalitha, the earlier occasion, and one really thought, one first got an inkling that they could actually bury all that bitterness when M.K. Stalin, along with Anbaragan, then went and attended that swearing-in ceremony. And I vividly remember that picture of Amma walking out and doing a namaste, doing a vanakkam to both of them, which they reciprocated. But that was short-lived because in the very next day, in fact the same evening, the DMK released a statement saying that the leader of the opposition, Anbaragan, wasn't given his pride of place, wasn't given a proper seat, and after that you had the arrests and all that. So I don't think these parties will ever see eye to eye. I don't think they'll ever maintain that basic cordiality between parties in the political spectrum as we witness in North India. But this is only going to get worse. It's going to be a very, very bitterly fought election. As far as the allegations are concerned, well, if the CBI...
But a CBI inquiry into the stealing of some 9,000 odd packets, which is not even established as yet. CBI inquiry, what's wrong with Jayalalitha?
It might actually, it actually might seem, hilarious to some of us, as you put it. But actually there's more to it than meets the eye, because Ms. Jayalalitha is sending out a message that at every single opportunity she will go for their jugular. She will leave no stone unturned, and she will leave no turn unstoned, as it were, to go for their jugular. We saw that, in fact, taking them on in Coimbatore just after the Tamil conference. She's also going to go to Madurai. Of course, Aragiri went to her bastion in Andipatti. So they're going to enter each other's territories and take each other head on. And this is just an indication. This is maybe... we might initially say that, well, it might make interesting copy. Newspapers will have box items tomorrow in their papers. NDTV Hindu has already headlined it. But it's only an inkling of how bitter and how people are really going to stoop to actually attack each other. It's going to be a most bitterly fought election in 2011. Also with the permutations and combinations, with both sides actually being almost evenly poised at this stage.
Right. At this stage, Sanjay, as you say, the hostilities right now at this point of time, how do you see them panning, in fact, as we approach and the Election Commission now finally takes stock of the situation here, sends out its rules. How do you see this panning out in the coming few months till the run-up to the polls next year?
Well, as I said just now, I mean, it's going to get very, very personal. It's going to be acrimonious. You're going to have a whole lot of maybe more allegations being hurled at each other, more accusations. Every single Jayalalitha is determined to expose what she calls the misdeeds of the ruling DMK. I'm sure the World Tamil Conference could also come under the scanner, and that would also provide fodder for Jaya TV, for instance, to go to town before the election, just like the DMK once did with that her foster son Sudhakaran's wedding. So it looks like the gloves are off, and it's going to be no holds barred, high voltage, high pitched battle between the two Dravidian heavyweights here.
Well, Sanjay, one last point before we actually end this discussion, running short of time here. How do you see, is it going to be again a two-player slinging match this time around, as you saw the DMK and the AIADMK, or are you going to see Vijaykanth getting even more aggressive than he was in the past, or maybe Ramadas getting even more aggressive against Jaya, a former ally, of course? How do you see this panning out in the coming few months?
See, for one thing now, the style of campaigning will be a little strategically slightly different, because all along Vijaykanth, for instance, had been projecting himself as a black MGR and this inheritor of MGR's legacy. In the company of Amma, he dare not do that. He cannot afford to do that, because he'll have to tone down that rhetoric there. Ramdas will not hold back his punches, because Ramdas has always attacked in fact, not been too kind to film stars joining politics. So Ramdas is also not going to hold his punches. So we'll have to really wait and see how this plays out, but it's going to make the battle for Tamil Nadu all the more interesting, all the more entertaining. So film stars joining politics is really going to add that entertainment and glamour quotient, not just glamour quotient, but also the entertainment value. And you and I will probably have many more good laughs at the end of a tiring day.
Right. And we're going to be covering every single moment of that run-up to the elections, which are going to happen next year. We'll be on top of everything. Thanks a lot, Sanjay Pinto, our executive editor there, joining us for this discussion on the big story that we've been following throughout the day. Now let's move on to some national news. After former Gujarat Minister Amit Shah, it could well be his mentor Narendra Modi, who may be under the CBI net. Now this is with regard to the Sohrabuddin Sheikh and Kausarbi encounter case. Now there are allegations against Modi that he and Amit Shah in fact on his behest tried to scuttle investigations. There's also allegations that there was collusion between top police officials and Mr. Modi's Minister for State Amit Shah scuttled the probe into this case. He had in fact also signed the transfer orders of a police officer who had refused to dilute the charges against DP Vanzara, the police officer who is accused of participating in the actual encounter.
All these cases are sham and they are nothing but a political revenge. Everyone knows what had really happened. Everyone knows that Sohrabuddin was a dreaded terrorist and anti-national person. This government, eyeing the Bihar and UP elections, trying to have a minority appeasement policy and using CBI to intimidate the patriotic people of the country.
Right, time now to take a look at all that's making news across India. This is your 60-second news capsule of all that's happening right now across the country. Take a look.
Gujarat's first woman IPS officer has been summoned by the CBI for putting together the missing links in the Sohrabuddin encounter case. Jury is expected to provide valuable clues, especially since she was dealt with a heavy hand by the Narendra Modi government. The opposition today stuck to its guns, demanding an adjournment motion against the UPA government. The House was adjourned after repeated disruptions by the opposition, including the BJP, RJD and the left parties. India's internal security head U Bansal today said that BlackBerry services will not be banned in India anytime soon. This after research in motion, the manufacturers of BlackBerry assured the government of complying with India's security norms. The fourth season of Kaun Banega Crorepati will be aired on October 11. That happens to be the birthday of superstar Amitabh Bachchan. The channel which will air the super hit show has confirmed that Big B will be making a comeback on his birthday.
Well, time for us to slip into a very short break. Up on the other side, Shiv Sena drains lakhs of liters of milk to protest against import of milk powder. And Sachin scores a scintillating double ton to save India's face in the second test. Stay with us.